Okay. Uh, Whenever you are recording in your QTP, internally, what is the mechanism QTP follows is like on which all are the objects you are performing operations. So internally, it will try to identify that object, gets stored into your object repository, and generates that step in your QTP. Okay, so that is how QTP internally follows the mechanism. While running, exactly QTP follows the similar mechanism, like first it will come to like QTP script, then your QTP script is having like browser.page.webedit.set. That means set operation you have to perform for username. So QTP have to identify username from that application, right? So it has to identify means it will go object repository. So with the help of object repository, it will try to identify username and perform set operation in your application. So very simply I have to say means while recording, application, object repository, then QTP. Okay, so while running is just opposite. So script, then control goes to object repository, then control goes to performing operation in the application. So this is the mechanism QTP follows while recording. Okay, so in QTP there are three recording modes you come across. Those are nothing but like normal recording, high level recording, and low level recording. Okay, so before going object identification, these are the basic concepts of object oriented you should get to know. Okay, so before that I just want to get to know like did I cover this recording modes, Srinivas? Normal recording, unlock recording, and low level recording. Hello, is covered. Okay. Okay, fine. Okay, that's good. Okay, then we can go for like object oriented concepts. So object orient, what is object? Any real world instance you can consider as an object. TV, computer, house, tree, stone, person, human being, each and everything whatever you are seeing around you. Okay, so so each and everything you can consider as one object. So each and every object should be having some properties. Like one student, if you take student, will be having student ID, student name, first name, last name, middle name, age, date of birth, present address, permanent address, like that. So many properties it should be having. Okay. So meanwhile, employee, if you take employee, should be having some properties exactly like employee ID, department, salary, division. So many properties will come. Okay. So one tree, if you take, what is the height, what is the category, what is the whether it will provide fruits or not, what is the leaf color, something like that. So many properties each and every object should be having. Okay. So that is nothing but object. Group of objects with similar properties is nothing but class. Testing connect technologies, if you take, there they may be providing so many training sessions, so many training programs like Java, .NET testing, Oracle apps. Okay, so who all are taking training from this institute, each and everybody having some properties, right? So but all testing people belongs to testing class, all Java people belongs to Java class. Okay, so class is nothing but like group of objects with similar properties. All testing people from this training institute belongs to testing class. All Java people belongs to Java class. All .NET people belongs to .NET class. All SAP people belongs to SAP class. All Indians belongs to Indian class. All males belongs to males class. All females belongs to females class. Like that, group of objects with similar properties is nothing but like class. Okay, so then you come across like property and method. Okay, this one I will explain you in your automation front. Okay, so what I do is I will go for like Internet Explorer. Let me launch navigate. Let me launch some application. Okay, so in real world, each and every instance you are considering it as one object, right? Each and every instance. Okay, so exactly in this space, if you go, each and every element like username, password, stay signed in, sign in button, cannot access your account, about Gmail, new features, mobile access, less spam. Okay, Gmail approach to Google, each and every element you can consider as one object. Okay, so like student, employee, like that, if you take which are the properties you come across, exactly in this application each and every independent element you can consider as one object. Okay, so like in our real world, each and every student, each and every object having properties, exactly in your application also should be having some properties. What exactly the object properties you have to find out means, one very basic feature you come across in your QTP, that is nothing but like object spy. Okay, so with the help of object spy you can find out whether specific element is identifying by your QTP tool or not. Means like if it's identifying, it will get spy. Like I'm clicking on object spy, you have to go for object spy. Means either you click on object spy icon or go to tools menu, from tools menu object spy you can pick up. Okay, normally in every tool you will come across this feature, but terminology may get vary. Okay, so in Selenium inspect element you will come across, in WinRunner you will get like uh, in WinRunner you will get like GUI spy. Srinivas, just give me a second. Okay, so in WinRunner you will get like GUI spy, in QTP you will come across like object spy, in Firebug, in Selenium you will come across like inspect element. Okay, so the purpose of this feature is like whether specific object in your application is identifying by your QTP tool or not, or what are the application you are working, that tool is identifying or not, that is what it will try to find out. Okay, so you have to inspect means click on hand icon from object spy window, and wherever you go specific object, see it's blinking, right? It's blinking, that means that object is identified. Okay, so here if you go for like see one defect you are having with your QTP, the problem is, see I am spying on sign in button, sign in is push button, but what is taking web element. Okay, so this is the problem, that means like is see somewhere else is considering. Okay, so this is what is considering link, you see, observe where I put my mouse pointer. So cannot access account where you are having, that is the link is taking. Okay, So exactly password, if I go, okay, so this one is taking it as like password, you see, password, but where exactly you are having password edit box? Somewhere else. So this is the defect with your QTP application latest versions. Okay, so this is the problem you will get like during spying, but regarding and other situations is pretty good, no issues you will face, only for object spy. Okay, so it's spying means, what does it mean? It's identify. Okay, so like that wherever you move it will be spying. So web edit, this is for username web edit. Okay, so like that specific object properties you want to view, click on that object. Once you click on that object having which are the properties you see here. Okay, so and this one I could have explained already. So whatever the hierarchy developer implemented, same hierarchy your QTP tool also follows. Okay, so browser he will divide into page, under page he will put different frames, frames into tables, tables into subtables, subtables into subtables he will divide and put independent objects accordingly, right? So exactly the same hierarchy your QTP tool also considering. So I have selected email edit box. See which are the properties developer was used for putting this object. So web edit, absolute x, absolute y, these are nothing but like coordinates, x coordinate and y coordinate. Okay, so absolute x, absolute y, HTML tag, inner text, outer text, HTML ID. So like that value, x coordinate, y like y coordinate, like that. So many properties you are having, right? So like this whatever the object you go in your application, web elements, stay signed in. Okay, so stay signed in also having say so many properties. Okay, so like that in your application which are the objects you are having, each and every object should be having some properties. Okay. Okay. Then in our class 10 people were there, you have to identify Srinivas. How you will identify? So Srinivas is having so many properties like first name, last name, middle name, age, date of birth, gender, like that. So many properties you are having, but I have to identify Srinivas means I will consider two properties. Okay, so like gender and name, these two properties if I consider, I can identify Srinivas, right? So here my point is like student having so many properties, but you are not considering all those properties for identifying the student. So minimum number of properties you are considering, right? Exactly, QTP also follows the similar mechanism. Like even though this object is having so many properties, so it will look for very minimum number of properties for identifying any of the object. Okay, so before going which properties it will look for, so each and every object in our real world nature should belong to some class, right? Exactly, here also in this application which all are the objects you are seeing, each and every object should belongs to some class. Okay, each and every object belongs to some class. Like username, username if you take, how it looks like, it looks like edit box, right? So edit box is one class. Password, again edit box, so password also one more like password, username, both belongs to edit box class. Okay, stay signed in, what do you call this one? Checkbox, right? This one you can call it a checkbox. Okay, so cannot access your account, what you can call it as link. Okay, so create an account link. So about Gmail, learn more, new features, switch to Gmail, create an account, cannot access your account. All these objects belongs to class. Which class? Link class. Okay, these all are, you will call it as like links, right? Like that so many classes you will come across, like bitmap, image, okay, horizontal scroll bar, vertical scroll bar, table, page, browser, okay. So these all are nothing but like different classes, okay. So edit box, check box, push button, radio button, horizontal scroll bar, vertical scroll bar, table, image, bitmap, web element, okay. So whatever the object you are available in this application, each and every object belongs to one of these classes. Okay, so this is very basic of like object and class, okay. But qtp, how it will identify by considering these properties. As I said, like in our class 20 people were there, you have to identify Srinivas. So how you will identify? Even though Srinivas is having so many properties, you are looking for two properties, minimum number of properties. Exactly, qtp also look for very minimum number of properties. Okay, so what are those? Okay, so I have to identify username. So how I can identify? So if you take like username, you are having like so many properties. If I go for username, okay, so many properties you are having. I already told qtp doesn't want to look for all these properties. qtp don't want to look for okay, so it will look for minimum number of properties. So which properties it can look for? Let us check it out. Oh, that one is should present. Just a second. Okay, so username have to identify means what is the class name? Edit box. Okay, and what is the label it's having? Username, right? So if I consider these two properties, let me increase font. Okay, so if I look for these two properties, so if I go for application, okay, so how qtp consider is like, okay, so it will come from object one by one. Okay, class name is edit box. So first qtp control comes to here. Is this edit box? No, this is image or web element it will take. So this is not edit box. So it will come new to gmail. Is it edit box? No. Is it edit box? No. Gmail approach to google. Okay, okay, is this edit box? No. Is this edit box? No. This one, like this, step object by object you will be getting. So is this edit box? No. Is this edit box? Yes. Okay, so first property mapped, first property matched. Okay, okay, fine. Then second property also should get matched, right? So is this edit box having label username? Yes. Okay, so both the properties matched. Okay, so think about like these two properties. Any other object in this page having a same properties? No, right? So this is also edit box, but this is having label like password. This is having label like password. So no other object in this page containing these two properties, right? So that's how your qtp tool try to identify any of the object. Okay, so object username have to identify means, so this is the mechanism qtp follows. Okay, so then password you go for password. Exactly, password you want to identify means class name is edit box, label is password. label is password. Okay, so then okay, then you have to identify like sign in button. Let us assume you have to identify sign in button. Okay, QTP have to identify sign in button means what is the class name? Class name is having like sign in and sorry push button, that is push button, right? Push button. Okay, so what is the label is having? Sign in. Okay, so like that QTP try to identify. Now I have to identify about Gmail. So what is the mechanism QTP follows? Let me check it up. About Gmail have to identify. Okay, how QTP identifies is like class name is link, class name is link, label is about Gmail. Label is about Gmail. So this is the mechanism QTP follows for identifying any of the object in your application. Okay, so this is nothing but like object and class. Okay, so here if you take this object username, if you take what is length, what is class name, what is label, what is HTML text, what is HTML ID, this is nothing but like property. Okay, so that is nothing but like property, and method is nothing but like property describes about that object. Very simply I have to define means property describes about that object and method the operation you can perform in that object. Method is nothing but like operation you can perform in that object. Okay, so very simple example I will take like football. If you take football, color is nothing but like property, kick is nothing but like method. You want to play football means you will kick, right? So kick is nothing but like method. Okay, exactly here x coordinate, y coordinate, label, HTML tag, inner test, outer test, these all are nothing but like properties. Then what is operation? You can set value to this username, right? Then set is nothing but like method. You can perform click operation in your sign in button. So click is also one more method. You can click link, right? Any of the link. So click is nothing but like method. You can check. So check is nothing but like method. check box. Okay, so get x coordinate, get y coordinate. So these are nothing but like methods. Okay, so property describes about that object, method is nothing but like the operation you can perform in that object, that is nothing but like method. Okay. Okay, so this is the object identification mechanism QTP follows. Okay, but I have to identify Srinivas. So I am considering two properties, class first name and then what I am considering, gender. Let us suppose in this class two Srinivas were there. Let us assume in this class two Srinivas were there. So at that time these two properties doesn't provide unique identification, right? So what I can look for at that point of time? If I look for like surname or initial, okay, or last name, then that one provides unique identification, right? So surname if you consider, it will definitely provide, along with first name, gender and surname if I consider, it will provide definitely unique identification. Okay, so exactly in QTP also, in case these two properties like class name and label, doesn't provide unique identification means that object is having so many properties, right? So it may look for few more properties. See how many properties it's having. So it may look for few more properties. Mostly it may go for like HTML tag or HTML ID or inner text. One of those properties it may look for. Okay. Okay. Let us assume both of them are twins. Two Srinivas were there. Both of them are twins. Both of them exactly looks like same. Weight, height, color, length, each and everything is same. That's what I am saying. They are twins. At that point of time, how you will identify them? So at that point of time, what you can do is you have to differentiate both of them, means you can give numbers to them, right? So you can index them like Srinivas 1, Srinivas 2, like that you can index. Exactly, best example, if you go for like Facebook, in Facebook, yard friend, like that, so many buttons you will come across, right? Yard friend, all buttons having similar description, length, width, height, each and everything will be same, right? So if that is the situation, how QTP identifies the object? At that time, QTP index them. Okay, that means yard friend 1, yard friend 2, yard friend 3, yard friend 4, like that it will try to yard index for uniquely identify. Okay, so index, it may go for index. Okay, due to some reason, index also doesn't provide unique identification, let us assume. Due to some cause, index also not providing unique identification. Then what QTP can go for is like location. Okay, so location is nothing but like one chair is there, two persons cannot sit. Exactly within one location, developer cannot insert two objects. In this place, he can put only one object. Hand symbol, if you go this place, only one object he can put. He cannot put multiple objects. So absolute x, absolute y coordinate if you consider, then it provides unique identification. Okay, so location if you consider, that time it will definitely provide unique identification. Okay, so index or location it may go for. Okay, but I am trying to launch multiple internet explorers. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 internet explorers I have launched. Okay, see, first internet explorer, second. Do you see any difference whether the second one is enabling or not? No difference, right? So what does it mean? All windows having similar description. That means same title, same hierarchy, same description, same objects. Each and every window looks like exactly same, right? Okay, so here location also no difference, all the windows appearing in same location. So location also doesn't provide unique identification, right? In this kind of situation, if you consider this kind of situation, one more best example, if you select security alert window, security alert, once you click on login button, you may come across, right? So at that time, multiple pop-ups with the same description exactly like this you will come across. At this point of time, what QTP can look for? So at that point of time, QTP can go for like creation time. Okay, at that time QTP can go for like creation time. Creation time is nothing but like for launching two internet explorers, at least there should be some time gap, right? Within fraction of seconds at least. Okay, so what time that object is creating, if you consider, then you can identify very easily, right? So time is trying to add for that object at what time is creating, then that is also like creation time also one more way of identifying objects in your application. Okay, so QTP have to identify any of the object in your application means it can look for properties. Each and every object having so many properties, right? Okay, so class name, label, absolute text, absolute array, like this, so many properties is having. So initially it don't want to look for all those properties. Initially it will look for like class and label. Okay, in case class and label doesn't provide means it may look for few more properties. Okay, so this initial properties class and label you can consider as mandatory properties. Compulsory properties. Okay, so you have to identify any of the object means you should consider minimum number of properties. This one you can consider as compulsory properties or mandatory properties. By chance mandatory properties doesn't provide unique identification means it can go for like what it can go for inner test or outer test. That means few more properties QTP is looking for. Those properties you can consider as assistive properties. Okay, assistive properties. Even assistive properties also doesn't provide unique identification means it can go for like ordinal identifier. Ordinal identifier is nothing but like index, location, creation type. Okay, so first it will look for mandatory properties, then it go for assistive properties, then one of these three properties it can look for. One of these, that is what it don't look for all. Okay, either it can go for index, location or creation type. Any one of these properties it can go for. Okay, it will definitely provide unique identification. Remember, this is the heart of your automation. If you will be into automation, you cannot understand object identification means you cannot do anything in your automation. Okay, each and every fraction of second it will touch you. Okay, and remember there are so many automation tools available. Each and every automation tool follows the similar mechanism, but only the thing is terminology make it vary. If you go for like WinRunner, they will use like mandatory properties, assistive properties, index and location. No, like base filter properties, optional properties, index and location they will look for. There is no concept like creation type in WinRunner. In Silk test, if you go, tag and multi-tag concept you will come across. Tag and multi-tag. Tag is nothing but like single property. Multi-tag is nothing but like multiple properties. Okay, so there ID, caption, label, attached text. What is attached text? Here checkbox, if you go, this checkbox doesn't have any label, right? So if this is the situation means what QTP will do is nearest text it will go for. Nearest text it will look for. Okay, so that is nothing but like attached text. So in QTP, in Selenium, in Silk test, they will come up with like ID, caption, label, window ID and attached text. Like that properties it will look for. Okay, in Selenium, if you go for ID, it will look for first identifiers, then ID, then it will go for like a name, then it can go for like COM, XPath, CSS. These are the different terminology it will use, but concept is same, very high level, but terminology is getting vary. Okay. So this is the object identification mechanism you will try to follow in your QTP. If you doesn't understand this one, you cannot do anything in your automation front. Okay, along with these identification mechanisms, in latest version of your QTP, if you take like QTP 11, they come up with like XPath identification. Okay, what is X path? X path is nothing but like you are residing in some house, right? Your house having unique address in the globe, right? So no other house should be having same address. Exactly, each and every element in your application should be having like unique ID. Developer puts some unique ID for developing that object. So that is nothing but like X path. Okay, so X path is nothing but like unique ID in your application. Okay, so this is in actually here I have installed QTP 10. In my company laptop I am having like QTP 11. I will show you at that point of time. So as of now I can show you like X path how it looks like in Mozilla Firefox. Okay, so Mozilla Firefox you go, sorry, IDE is not required. So you go for like tools Firebug, it's not required, I'm just want to show you. So you go Gmail. So I said right, so in QTP you will come up with like object spy, but in Selenium you will get like inspect the element, right? So inspect element, here you are getting one window like inspect element, you see. Okay, so you go means whatever the object you move is inspecting, like it's blinking, right? That means it's identified. Okay, so you want to get X path of this object, click here fire path you are seeing, right? So here you are getting like this is the X path. Okay, so if you give right click, once you click on right click, but the thing is it should be selected something else. Okay, so once you select right click, once you click right click, okay, copy X path. If you go for like notepad and paste it, okay, so this is nothing but like X path. Okay, so this is nothing but like X path. Exactly, QTP 11 also they come up with this kind of feature, object identification. Then CSS, another way of identifying object is like cascading style sheet, CSS. Okay, cascading style sheet. So cascading style sheet is nothing but like okay, for this same object I will try to copy like copy CSS path. So I go notepad, I'll paste this one, what will happen you see. Okay, so too long, right? It's too long. So what is the format is looking, you see. I have to go to Mozilla Firefox. Okay, I have to go to that one. So notepad, let me open. Okay, so if I go see this page for putting that object, what developer is using, you see. So HTML first, he is considering like HTML. Okay, so first they put like HTML, CSS path also is taking HTML. HTML divided into two portions like head and body, but head division not expanded. So what it was expanded? Body. So it has expanded body, you see. It has expanded body. Okay, then body, again so many division. So division wrapper, it was expanded. So divided wrapper, divided wrapper. Okay, if you go for like divided wrapper, again two divisions. Division Google something is taking Google header bar, division main content, but division Google header, it was not expanded. So main got expanded, right? So division main. You could have got idea. Okay, so then division something like that. This is the hierarchy QTP is following. Okay. Okay, so this is the mechanism QTP follows. So that is nothing but like cascading style sheet. This one you can consider as like cascading style sheet. Okay, this is another way of identifying object in your application. Then one more, they come up with like visual identification. You are unable to see in your class. Let us suppose sometime your teacher remembered your name, but your friend's name, your neighbor's name, he was unable to identify. Name he was forgot or something like that. Let us suppose at that time, how he will identify? He can call like next to Srinivas, right? Like that your teacher may call you. Exactly, QTP unable to identify any of the object directly in your application, let us suppose. So at that point of time, QTP, what is the mechanism it will follow is like with the help of like around objects. Okay, so which are the other objects close to this object, that's what it will look for. Okay, so that is nothing but like visual identification. So here my point is like so here QTP, let us suppose unable to identify, create an account. What it will do around this object, how new to Gmail, right? So it will look for new to Gmail. By considering those properties, it will try to identify this object. So that is nothing but like visual identification. Okay, so that is nothing but like visual identification. So this is the mechanism QTP follows. Okay, so so this is the mechanism QTP try to follow. Now we'll try to see like we'll try to decode and try to find out which are the properties your QTP to look for. Okay, so go QTP, try to decode basic operations from your Gmail application. Okay, I'm setting username, I'm setting password, click on sign in button. Okay, so resources, object identification, sorry, object repository. If I go in object repository, it will get stored which are the objects you performed operations, right, and which are the actions you performed. All those objects gets stored into your object repository. Okay, sign in, if I go for sign in, okay, here I have question. I told you have to identify sign in means class and name. If I look for those two properties provides unique identification, right? But why QTP is adding few more properties like type, name, HTML tag. Meanwhile, if I go for like email, if I go for email, class is edit box, name is email. But why QTP looking for few more properties? See, here is looking for type, name, HTML tag. Exactly, if you go for like password. Okay, so why it's looking for few more properties? Like before that, I will tell you small point. QTP doesn't do anything. It will provide you just the UI. Okay, you can control each and every aspect of QTP. Okay, QTP is nothing but like just the UI. You can get control of whole QTP tool into your hands. So for identifying any of the object which properties QTP can look for, you can instruct your QTP to, okay, that is in your hand. There is no concept like stable properties, it should be like class and label. Assistive properties are like HTML tag, AR inner text. Okay, so you are considering few properties as mandatory properties, few properties as assistive properties, something like that you are considering. It's nothing mean like name and class should be mandatory properties, inner test, outer test should be assistive property. It doesn't mean like that. Okay, so you want to consider inner test, outer test as mandatory properties, you can consider, no issues. That is what you can instruct your QTP tool, like these properties you can look for mandatory properties, these properties you can look for assistive properties. You can configure your QTP tool. So how you can configure is, for that one again you have to go for like one more simple topic, that is nothing but like object identification. Okay, tools, object identification. So here if you go for like standalone application, so these are the standalone application. I said like these are mandatory properties. Here you see mandatory properties, assistive properties and ordinal identifier. Ordinal identifier, if I go index location, you are not getting creation time, right? So standalone applications you don't get creation time, you will get creation time only for web based applications. Okay, that is what you have to remember. Okay, so mandatory properties you have to consider means, here I have added like attached test and native class. If I want to change, I can change here. Okay, absolute x, absolute y, I have to consider mandatory property, I can configure. Okay, so QTP you can instruct which properties QTP can look for, like mandatory properties, QTP can look for assistive properties, you can configure here. Exactly, if I go for like web based applications, mandatory properties, assistive properties and ordinal identifier, if you go index location creation time, here you are seeing 3. Okay, here you are seeing like enable smart identification mechanism, this one I will explain you later. Okay, as of now you can ignore, so that one I will explain you. If I go for like web edit, what are the mandatory properties it's having? HTML tag, name and type. If you go for like your object repository, if you go for object repository, so edit, okay, tools, object identification. Okay, so web edit, if I go, web edit, if go, so what are the properties here I configured? Type, name and HTML tag. Exactly same properties you are seeing here, right? Exactly same properties here also you are looking. Okay, so let me add absolute x, absolute y also. Let me add. Now I will try to record. Now let me record my QTP tool. So that is username, right? For username I have changed. Okay, I am recording. What QTP will do, you see. You observe the difference, it has added absolute x and absolute y as well. Why? So here earlier your object identification having only 3 properties you are configured. Now I have configured 2 more properties, so those one also QTP now looking for. Okay, so you can control each and every aspect of your QTP. Okay, so QTP control is in your hands. However you want to play your QTP, you can play. Okay, even you want to add new property for this object web edit, you can add. Okay, new property you want to add, you can add it up. Okay, so this is nothing but like your object identification. Okay, it's very simple. Only the thing is you have to remember you have to go through 2-3 times, you have to analyze. Okay, then it will get very easy. So we were discussing like object oriented concepts, like object, class. Object is nothing but like any real world instance you can consider as object. Each and every object will be having some properties. Okay, then class, group of objects with similar properties you can consider as class. Okay, then property is nothing but like describes about that object. Method is nothing but like operation you can perform in that object. Then object identification mechanism, initially it will look for modulative properties, then assistive properties, then it can go for like object ordinal identifier. Ordinal identifier is nothing but like index, location, creation, time. Okay, then along with those one, latest versions of your QTP come up with like XPath, CSS path, and visual identification. XPath is nothing but like unique address of each and every object you can consider as like XPath. CSS is nothing but like cascading style sheet, entire like document hierarchy it will look for. So document hierarchy is nothing but like HTML, header, body into divisions, exact hierarchy QTP will look for. So that is nothing but like CSS path. Then visual identification is nothing but like around objects. By looking around objects, QTP try to find identify that unrecognized object. Okay, so this is nothing but like object identification. Any questions? No questions? Okay, then thank you.